What's up, you guys? I am so excited to be here with you to tell you how to build strength and disappear fat with science. If you are busy, if you have a limited amount of time to train, learning the science of training is going to be invaluable to you and provide a massive return on investment. So this video might be a little bit longer than you might normally spend watching a video, but I promise you it will be extremely valuable. Everything I'm about to say is based on hours and hours of my own research, and I'll be posting everything in the comments so you can see all the studies that have gone into producing this video. Impetus for this is someone came to me and is looking to gain muscle, but they've also lost a lot of fat, like over 100 pounds. And they don't want to gain back that fat as they go to build muscle. I'm going to provide you here with all the information you need to find a path to get to the goal that you have. And even if you're an experienced lifter, or if you're just getting the ball rolling and getting back into exercise after not exercising for a while, whatever the case is, you're going to find a ton of value in this video. So let's get into it. So first thing, if you're looking to build strength and muscle, right? Strength is just one of the best things you can do for your overall health, for your longevity, for your presence as you walk into the room, for your sense of yourself. Being strong is one of the best things you can do. So if you weren't thinking about getting strong as you go about exercising, you might want to consider incorporating strength training. And as you go about that, before we even get started, it's critical that you reduce your stress levels. I suffer from this myself. I get so stressed out about things, about life, about people, about conversations I've got to have, things like this, right? And when we get into this very stressed state, it keeps us from actually being able to build muscle, right? Think about a baby. When a baby is growing, a baby grows at an alarming rate. What do they do all the time? They're eating, they're sleeping, they're just hanging out. Sometimes they're crying, but for the most part, they're just chilling. And you've got to get into that state if you really want to build a lot of muscle. If you're constantly stressed, your body is going to be focused on producing stress hormones and taking its limited amount of energy that it has. It has, like, you can think of it like there's a certain amount of water running through the hose, right? There's a certain amount of resources, a certain amount of income, right, that you get on a monthly or however long basis, hourly basis, whatever it might be. And you've got to choose where that resource goes. So you can have that resource go to stressing out, or you can have it go to building muscle. You choose. And reducing your stress is what's going to allow you. And also for losing fat, I would say the case is the same. When you're in a stressed state, your body's not going to let go of stored fat. Though you do need to train hard. I'm not going to get into all that. We're going to get back to reducing your stress, which is what this is all about. I'm just like, even just saying this, I start to get worried about how you're going to interpret it, or what people are going to think when they're watching this video, right? We get stressed all the time by so many things, and there are so many studies. There are at least 3 studies that I found that all point to that if you want to build muscle, you've got to reduce your stress. So then we've got getting sleep. You've got to get sufficient sleep at night. It kind of goes hand in hand with reducing stress. Not going to say too much there. You probably already know that, but let me just give you a reminder. You've got to get sleep, 7-8 hours if you want to continue to grow. Okay. So building muscle and strength. How many times do you need to train per week? Well, a lot of the science that I've seen points to training your muscle groups 2 times a week, at least. So you could do 2 full body workouts, and then just get away with 2 workouts a week. Or you could split that up and reduce the time that's needed, or you could increase the volume of each session and grow strength faster because you're training at a higher volume. Basically, this is the minimum figure you need to gain muscle, according to the science. And in these workouts, you should be accomplishing 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week to optimize the amount of muscle that you grow. So if you're doing 3 sets, for example, a lot of people are doing 3 sets of 12, right? 3 sets of 10 is very common. You might want to up that to 5 sets in each workout. So then, and you do each of those workouts twice a week, You start to get 5 sets in each workout, then you do that workout twice, then you have 10 sets a week. Boom, there you go. And evidently, the higher you go in that number, the more strength you're gonna gain, up to a certain point, right? So there you have it. Okay, so that's kind of like part 1, building muscle. Timestamp 5:30 to go into building fat. Or losing fat. We don't want to build fat here, okay? And I say disappear fat, because there's a lot of a conversation about losing fat, right? And there can be a big difference in your results just based on how you talk about and how you relate to the goal that you're out to accomplish. So if you're talking about losing fat, well, what about when you find it again, right? We're looking to disappear fat, to literally like get complete with it, let it go, and have it be a thing of the past. Because if you really want to create a physical transformation, it is going to require you to become a different kind of human being and step outside of who you've always been. That's, the science and the tools are great, but without the psychological, the ontological, emotional, all these other pieces, it's just not going to stick. We're not just a robot. So that's a whole nother conversation. But if you want to disappear fat, the tools, the structures that you need to use, right, that are going to optimize your ability to get the job done in the minimum amount of time, using high intensity interval training. So you can save time by using interval training. It's highly effective, more effective than long distance, moderate intensity cardio in multiple studies. High intensity intervals is the way to go. So that's exercising intensely for 20 seconds and then resting for 10 seconds. Or exercising intensely for 40 seconds and resting for 30 seconds and then repeating, right? But the point is there's some kind of fluctuation between high intensity and lower intensity. And I cannot stress this enough. In high intensity, getting intense is important. It's important to push your body's limits, because if you never push those limits, they're gonna slowly creep up on you and you're not gonna be able to move your body. You're not gonna be able to breathe hard. Anytime you're faced with something difficult, your body's not gonna be able to handle it. And we are gonna face all kinds of challenges in our lifetime. So why not just get prepared for them, right? Another benefit of high intensity interval training is it will not hurt your strength gains. And doing these long distance, low intensity, if you're on the cardio machines, if you're on the elliptical, if you're on the treadmill and you're going just steady pace for a long time, you're not only just like, I don't know, I never could really get into it. Bottom line, like you're not only using time that you could be using some other way, right? Namely on high intensity interval training, you could be getting the same amount of returns you're getting from a 60-minute jog in a 20-minute interval run. You're also potentially hurting your muscle gains. So studies have shown that when you do this long distance, this low intensity cardio, it can actually harm your ability to grow muscle and lower lean body mass. So high intensity interval training is the way to go. And I'm not saying don't go on hikes and don't go running. If you like to do that, if you like to do it, right? But don't overdo it, because when you start to go for hours and hours and that's your default, it's gonna ultimately harm your progress. So, because your body's gonna be putting energy into running, it's not gonna be putting energy into building muscle. It kind of goes back into this reducing stress. How do we reduce stress? Stop doing this moderate intensity cardio forever, right? Because the more you stress, and that stress is the stress you're imposing upon yourself when you run for long distances, right? And for long hours and you're worried about stuff, reducing that stress is gonna allow you to build muscle. So that stress is not only that stuff that's in your life, but also your training itself. So don't overtrain, okay? Another thing, stop eating ultra processed foods. There's study after study after study. I looked at a meta-analysis of 26 different studies, all point to, if you wanna lose fat, just don't eat ultra processed foods. That's one thing you can do. Another thing, how much do you need to be exercising? That's a huge question that people ask a lot of times when they're thinking about exercise, right? How much do I need to exercise? How much? So 3 to 5 hours or more a week is the general guideline, 150 minutes to 250 minutes or above. And the higher you go in that spectrum, generally speaking, up to a point, right? Up to a point where you're overstressed, you're gonna get the most significant loss of fat. And 80% of this fat disappearance game is gonna be nutrition. 20% is gonna be the calories that you burn through exercise, right? But most of it is just managing your relation and creating a powerful relationship with food. And I'm not gonna go into all that, but that's the key. So this kind of summarizes it up, right? Let's just go back over, right? If you wanna get in the shape of your life, reduce your stress, sleep well, train your muscle groups twice a week, do 10 to 20 sets per muscle per week, and train for 3 to 5 hours per week. Take care of your nutrition, stop eating ultra processed foods, and use high intensity interval training to reduce the time that you need in order to accomplish your goals. So these are some of the tools that the people in Team Unstoppable are going to be using in the next quarter to train over the next 3 months from July, August, and September. We are going to tear it up. It's the summertime and it is game time, baby. So if you want to join us, we're open until July 7th. Just reach out to me and we can hop on a call and see if it might be a fit for you to join this team of amazing humans as we train together as a team, as a community. Because having all this information is great, but having a team behind you, having accountability, and having a space and a group of people that are on the same, achieving, like reaching towards the same thing, it's inspirational. People love it. And that's something that we lose, as we age, as we get into just our day-to-day life, we lose that team mentality. So if you ever on a sports team, that was like some of the best days of your life was training with your people, and the relationships that you built with those people are like, they last. And it's the same with Team Unstoppable. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out to me or drop a comment on this post. Just let me know. And I hope this was useful for you. If this was, please let me know in the comments and we can do more like this. And if you have specific questions or topics you want addressed, drop those in there as well. And with that, I'll bid you adieu. Happy summer, and I'll see you around. Peace.